would have really liked is for him to run off and her to jump into the kitchen and pick up like a lightweight frying pan and maybe some big potatoes.
Yes.
And like tennis serve, boom, right on the back of his head. He gets a minor concussion and she just picks up her phone and walks back in. That would have been awesome, wouldn't it?
I'd like to have seen it though. I bet she's a dynamic figure, Serena.
She claims she got a standing ovation when she walked back into the restaurant.
But now she put the front of her anyway.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Oh, I'll tell you what, incredibly over the years, I met David Tennant before he was Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
But obviously I wasn't so excited.
Right.
Because that's a lack
He's a
of
lovely
thought.
man,
I know.
isn't he?
It's not like me to leave things to the last minute.
No.
But I mean, he was, you know, he was a Scottish actor when I met him, not the 10th.
Not the Doctor.
But he did Room 101 on this last series, so I got to meet him properly. I've got to say.
How did you find it?
Well, you know, I am a bit of a fanboy at heart. But when you meet somebody like that, sort of, you know, somebody who's certainly someone who's been the Doctor, but generally in life, someone who I'm not ashamed of the fact that the fanboy factor. Some people like to very much, you know, they're just people. But if I meet someone like a celeb sports person like that, who is, you know, I'm excited. I tell you what, I feel like I'm being ever so slightly tickled when I meet.
Right.
Just a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you admit that, and I like that.
Are you giggling?
I got a bit skittish.
He does.
I did. I'm not going to play it down. I walked into the rehearsal and there was David Tennant, and I did. I felt like I was being slightly tickled. Yeah, it was exciting. I had my first instinct. I remember when the Rolling Stones were raided for an enormous drugs raid on their house in the 60s, and Donovan was there. You know Donovan, the English folk singer.
Oh yeah.
And he was, when they went in, he was completely naked, and he jumped onto a policeman's back and held on so tightly they couldn't get him off. I did think that was a thought that crossed my mind. Could I get away with doing that? But I thought, well, he's doing Have I Got News for Years, so I think I'd be noticed over his shoulder.
Yeah, it looked like he got a really weird Frank Skinner backpack.
Yeah, he'd look like a mutant Ninja Turtle. So he was on Room 101.
Lovely.
He put in Capaldi Eccleston.
No, he didn't.
And Matt Smith. Yeah, which I thought was a bit vicious, but you know, you can't argue with me. No, he didn't really.
He didn't.
No, but it was.
He's charming, isn't he?
It's just that occasionally I'll meet some. I mean, obviously they're often Doctor Who involved, but if I'd properly get excited about it.
I have to say, when you described him off there, you were really suffering from a man crush. You kept talking about how good looking he was.
He had, Frank had mentionnitis.
Oh,
didn't he?
Yeah, I did have a bit of
It's gorgeous. This describes what he was wearing and everything, didn't you? He looked so nice. He looks fit. He's got lovely blue eyes.
He's talking about his twinkly eyes. Brown eyes.
No, but respect. I mean, if he came to it, you know, if it was the end of the night and there's him in one corner party and Jurgen Klopp in the other, I'd have to clop it.
Oh, would you?
He's my big man crush at the moment.
Is he?
Oh.
Yeah. Bill Klopp, in case you don't know, is the manager of Liverpool FC. Yeah. Oh, he's such a dish. I don't know what it is with the Klopp, but yes, I have this thing about giving him a haircut. Yeah, I'd like to clip Klopp.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'd like to bring a story to your attention, Mr. Skinner, and particularly, I think it will be news that you will appreciate. Liverpool is set to become the first city to open fast walking lanes. You've long been a fan of pedestrian racing.
Indeed.
But now they're going to
It'd be handy if I was pursuing Jurgen Klopp and he shot. It's Liverpool.
It does link.
I know, but come on.
Calm
Every
yourself.
minute he mentions it.
Yeah, if it's not him, it's David Tennant. It's changed.
But you can't talk about women like that anymore, so I've had to just...
You say with a certain note of regret in
Yeah,
you.
There's a certain amount of regret.
It's not like the old days.
No,
You can
So,
talk about me like that, I couldn't care less.
that wouldn't be right. Not with a colleague.
The,
Colleague.
the research conducted by Argos revealed that shoppers hate
Just
battling
hold on.
through
No,
crowds.
just a minute.
This is where I found it problematic as
Yeah.
well.
Wow.
Well, you know when you hear about people in like research centres and stuff like that, or you fund research. I don't know. Argos, what have they got? Some sort of laboratory.
Yeah.
Where are you working at the moment? I'm in the,
I'm in the Argos research unit.
It's amazing, I've got a great job there, I love it.
And also Argos sponsoring a thing that's meant to save us time during retail. The shop that wastes more retail time than any other, because you put
Is that
your order
true?
in and then you sit around while they get it from out back.
That is something I
15
don't
minutes.
understand as well. How to order things in Argos.
Yeah.
I went in there once, there was a very betting shop style biro.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
the only
did
thing
not
for free in there.
understand anything, and I just walked out. There was a magazine, there were pens hanging off strings, there were people, it looked like a doctor's waiting room.
I know, it was a bit like putting a bet on, is the
Yeah, you
experience.
punch in a
What do
code
they do, these people?
and then you wait while somebody drives around the forklift truck out back, and then
There was like a
15
there was a
minutes later
machine that you went to put numbers in.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And they've got the gall to tell us to walk quicker around
well,
the
it's
shopping
like the old
centre.
catalogue club, but all done in one.
Yeah.
I've got a soft spot for Argos, I must admit. A lot of these people, it's the only time they pick up a book. So,
yeah.
So yes, in case you don't know, the background to this, I often used to talk on the show about pedestrian racing. So I like to walk as fast when I'm out walking. I don't mean like when I'm out walking, on a country path. I mean just down the road. And I would spot someone in the distance and think I'm going to catch them up and overtake them. And I was never quite sure whether they knew or not. Sometimes you'd be shoulder to shoulder for like 3 or 4 minutes, trying to get past as they accelerated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did this all the time.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I do think we need to implement is pedestrian hand signals. You know, like some cyclists do that up and down arm to indicate that they're slowing down.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. That's something.
When they do that.
It's in the highway code now.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think
Has anyone listening to this show, is there anyone listening who read the highway code even a second after they passed their test?
when you do sign a contract to renew your highway code knowledge every year.
Do you? You
Yeah.
sign a contract to
Yeah,
that?
it's your driving
never
license.
signed that.
It's your driving license.
Is that what it
That's
is?
like
That's what they told me on
clicking.
that speed awareness course.
I love that you've remembered that.
Yeah, I
Isn't that
remembered
like-
everything. I loved it.
It's like clicking agree on terms and conditions.
Exactly. It's totally that.
When have you ever understood terms and conditions?
Well, who's ever read them?
T's and C's, they call them.
I
Yeah,
could
but
have
some,
signed all my house and everything away.
what about when they make you listen on the phone when you write something? I'm just going to read some things here to you.
I'll ask my PA. That's fine.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
My girlfriend went as the Grim Reaper to the Halloween party, but with one notable omission. Just before she left, she said, "Oh, I'm not carrying that around all night." So she didn't take the scythe.
Excellent.
I think that's fair enough.
She said to her mother, "Can you stitch it into the back of the outfit or something?" And I said, "How are you going to get in the car?" She said, "Oh, just don't bother with it. I'll do just like a monster thing."
Brilliant. I once went to a fancy dress party and the theme was Creatures of the Sea, and my mate John had hired the outfit Captain Hook but didn't like the hook, so he left it at home exactly the same, and we said, "Well, what are you?" And he went, "Just the captain." Not Captain Hook, the captain.
No, it's
He looked like Charles II though.
there's a lot of people who arrive in stuff and then after about 10 minutes they
Yeah.
take it off.
Well, what about Reece Shearsmith? Because his entire costume involved, I think he was magic, that part of. So he walked in carrying his child.
Oh, what a puppet.
Yeah,
All right, yeah,
as
yeah.
the puppet, which was incredibly impressive. But then he was stuck carrying the child. He must be a good 7 or 8 in his arms for some time.
Also, that really means that you can't gossip with grown-ups if there's like a 7 or 8-year-old in your arms. You can't do any adult-only conversation.
Should have
can
grown
you,
up in
whilst
my
you're at the
family,
pub?
love. That didn't really make any difference.
No, but he looked a bit of a Fall for the Birdie song. He's just standing there. Yeah, I kept my tombstone on throughout. Can I say that?
I've heard that.
Yeah. Exactly, you couldn't really tell in that outfit. It's just like a big, if you imagine a stone balaclava, it was like that. Anyway, so the pedestrian racing thing,
Yes.
one of the problems with it, it's a bit like the no repeat guarantee. Most people, I think, just won't understand what it is, where you're supposed to go and where you don't go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, you know, I find the people who walk slow often think slow, in my experience.
Oh, I'm so fed up with people just coming to a dead stop like, as you're walking and they're right in front of you, and then they just, you know, we
I
need brake
hate
lights,
it.
we need something.
Well,
That's
Is it
No,
just outside the one shop though, this?
The one shop is that shop that Alex
Yeah,
Jones
yeah,
and
it's only open
Matt Baker
between
have
7 and 8
opened.
every
Yeah,
day.
it's not very tough. No, what I've started wearing when I shop is a bicycle bell signet ring.
Oh, that's a
So I
great
just get
idea.
behind, they give me the old ding ding, and they you know, they sense like a fly landing on an animal. They look around.
My wife thinks that I have.
My wife.
My wife thinks that I've broken a social boundary because you know when people are walking towards you, adults, head down, looking at their phone, and you know when you do that thing where you step to one side thinking I'll get
No,
out
I
of their
don't know to
way.
walk straight at them.
Well,
I do, I honestly do.
I try my best to get out of the way, but if they then veer towards me and then I step back again and they veer again, I think, well, I'm going to have to do this. And I clap my hands quite loudly underneath their face, sort of, so that they look up like that.
You don't.
Yeah, so when someone's walking, so when someone's walking towards me, I'll go like that, and I made a woman shriek recently, and my wife said,
Well, not many of us can say that. Wow.
That's the end of my story.
You clap hands.
Yeah,
Really?
because I want them to look up and not walk into me, because otherwise they're going to get a fright from
Wow.
walking into me.
Do you think people think you're a bit strange?
Yeah,
Probably
probably.
monstrous. Respect.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I went, I went to the Albert Hall on Park right next to me. I went to see Charles Aznavour.
Oh yeah.
She may be the face I can't forget.
Oh, is that who it is?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And he came on at the beginning. What about now? Imagine the
You went with your mother-in-law, didn't you?
I went with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law. I said to my mother-in-law. He came on, and what about if a comic did this? What about if I did this? Some might say I should. He came on and said, thanks very much for coming tonight. He'd done a song, then he said, look, I just
I
want
hope
to...
you said it in French accent.
He did, yeah, and
Yeah.
he said, oh, thank you so much, but let me just say, I just want to tell you, my voice is not as good as it used to be. Certainly not as good as it was 10 years ago.
Oh,
He said also my memory. I have these are teleprompts, which I have the lyric. I mean, it completely blew the gap on the whole thing. Imagine
I bet
if
you quite respect that.
Totally, but
Love it.
if I came on and said, look, I'll be straight with you, I'm not as funny as I was in the 90s. Would people be alright with that? I mean, obviously they'd probably say it on the way out, but I mean, to walk
But we never tell you that in fairness.
No, but respect, there was something quite exciting, exhilarating about it.
Oh, I love him for that.
He was brilliant.
Good voice?
At times.
Oh, it's
but
gone
like
off,
he
it's
said,
gone off a bit.
He said, luckily I wrote a lot of songs where broken voice is quite apt.
Don't put yourself down, Charles.
No, he was alright, Sean. He's, to be fair, he's 91
Yeah.
and still gigging.
And also pretty delighted about the rules of Scrabble changing to allow proper nouns. I think Aznavour is going to be worth a bunch.
It really is. It's not really an A. It's a Z.
Z and what's
Yeah, it's
a
heavy,
V.
heavy on the vowels. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And unless you work for Absolute, in which case you're probably furious.
Oh, no, what if we get sad?
Well, you can't be sacked for misunderstanding, can you?
Well,
Anyway.
we'll let you know next week.
Okay, someone will. And yeah, it's a good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise. We're back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
Parents dump a lot of things on you. I just realized, remembered something that too really cool. Most of them.
many cliches they learn when you're a kid. Of course, there are a lot of words that mean different things and get tricked around in you, but parents always told you, look out, don't break your neck. Get down off there, you'll break your neck. When you get off those stairs, you'll break your neck. You want to break your neck? Get in. Breaking your neck was one of the only injuries there was, along with putting someone's eye out. But that stick, you'll put someone's eye out with that. Are you crazy? He's going to break his neck for and put someone's eye out with that stick. The only two injuries there were. No one ever warned you about a fractured ulna or wrist or thing. They said you cut, you'll scrape yourself. They were always looking at sometimes some pneumonia. Never thought you'll catch a cold, catch a head cold, catch a rhinitis. No. If you lost something, parents had a cliche, eventually you hear it. Well, it just didn't get up and walk away, did it? Please, St. Anthony, help me find my keys. Please, St. Anthony, help me find my keys. Please, God, my keys, help me forget what to do with my Please, God, help me. Please, St. Anthony, tell God I need my keys. Don't pick at it, that's another one. Don't pick at that, will you? In or out, come on. I suppose if Johnny Finnegan jumped off the Empire State Building, you would have to jump off the Empire State Building. The words change value too, just ordinary words. Remember the word trouble? That's how I was mentioned. Emotional. Trouble. I'm in trouble. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. Trouble is when a few times you'd say, please. You really mean it. You don't say please anymore, expecting that it's going to change. You just say, please. Oh, please. Please, sister. Oh, no, please, man. Please, man. Please, man. That was what the teacher said. Please, man. Honestly, no, I'll never do it again. Give me one more chance. Turn over and leave. Sending away was a magical phrase. What are you doing? I'm sending away. Sending away. Sending away. You picture Battle Creek, Michigan. Hey, this is from Master George Garland. Get that in the mail right away. I always got screwed on things I sent them for. No, otherwise, a lot of times I never got them. Right up through puberty, including when I went for vacuum techs. Removes pimples from vacuum, remember that? A little syringe-like thing, black and white plastic syringe, $2.59, was always advertised on the back of Strong magazines. It's like blackheads with vacuum. And you knew it worked because it had a drawing of a girl with dots on her face, and then the drawing of the same girl without dots on it, so you knew it was a woman. Didn't work though. Not for me. It didn't pull the blackheads out. All it did was make a little red ring around the blackheads. It was good for one weekend, you know, when people got tired. Get your rings and get out of here, will you?
How much hush money do they pay to the hush puppies?
How long will I live if I eat only chippies?
Welcome, listeners, to the last episode of Answer Me This before we go on 3 months paternity leave.
Can I call it the season finale?
If you do it in a growly American trailer voice, yes.
Okay. This is the season finale of Answer Me This.
Where we spend all of our budget on blowing up all the sets.
And tie up a lot of loose ends. We're going to finally explain why Martin
cliffhangers here. What?
But we also want to leave a cliffhanger so that we get renewed for another series. Well, here is a question from Chris from South Wales, who says, I'm currently in Disney World, Florida,
Wow.
watching the Merry Mickey Christmas Parade or something. Ollie, answer me this. Did any Disney cast member go on to become really famous? I'm talking specifically about cast members working in the theme parks, not your likes of Britney Spears or Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, who were in the Mickey Mouse Club.
At the same time as Ryan Gosling.
I know.
What a weird mixture.
Amazing.
Yep.
So yeah, it's well known, isn't it, that there's a graduate course really from being Hannah Montana style
Yeah.
acting to being dirty pop star shoving foam fingers up your badge. But what about people who actually work in the theme parks, then going on to acting and dancing and singing careers? Well, there have been many.
Okay, and how many of them were just in the foam suits anonymous, and how many were visibly themselves in a princess costume?
None of them were in foam suits and anonymous.
Oh.
And I don't think that's a surprise actually, because I think if you're someone whose ambitions lie in being a famous face yourself, you're not going to subsume yourself inside a Mickey costume. Plus,
Yeah, but you might need to just to have work.
no, the thing is, it's also, they're really short. So generally actors, I know people always say cliches, oh, they're much shorter when they're in real life,
Yeah.
but you still have to be quite statuesque usually in Hollywood. So, if you've played Mickey or Minnie, you're 4 foot tall. So there haven't been too many of those. However, Michelle Pfeiffer in the mid-1970s played Alice in Wonderland in the Main Street Electrical Parade.
I suppose because she's from Orange, which is close to the first ever Disney park.
Kevin Costner worked as... Don't just laugh at a mention of his name. It's not at Mel Gibson level.
Yeah, but he's pretty grumpy.
No, it's funny you should say that. He took on one of the most kind of evangelistic, enthusiastic roles in the park, actually.
Wow.
As a tour guide on the Disneyland Jungle Cruise.
Oh wow, you really couldn't half-ass the tour guide, could you?
It's quite irritating. If it's one of those rides, it's a classic attraction, the Jungle Cruise, but it's quite irritating. If you've ever been, it's often a wannabe stand-up comedian trying to do family-friendly material. Quite irritating. Because it's one of the only rides where the cast members get to improvise their own version of the script.
Do you think talent scouts go to Disney for that? Like model scouts go to Topshop, Oxford Circus to look for 14-year-olds who are willowy?
Yes, I think if they're looking for talent that is based purely on the way you look, then yes, because that would explain as well why Kevin from the Backstreet Boys played Aladdin
Of course.
at Disneyland.
Got the eyebrows for it.
He has, hasn't he? When I say it, it kind of makes sense.
He's still got kind of cartoonish Disney face.
Also, Steve Martin worked in the Main Street Magic Shop for about 3 years.
Crivens.
And learned how to do magic and juggling and banjo playing and creating balloon animals. This is all documented, by the way. He did like a special commemorative video for the theme park on their anniversary, which played in the shop. Well, sticking in the US, here's a question from Larry in Salem, Oregon. You ever been there? You're a fan of Oregon?
Been close, but not in Salem, Oregon. I think it's the state capital.
It's not the witch trial Salem, is it? That's
No.
the one that's in the east.
Yeah.
Yeah.